Good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Monday, the 23rd day of February 2015. It's the Municipal Council Caucus. I had a 5:30 scheduled PM start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 5:44. May I have a roll call for the commencement of this caucus? Councilperson Kajewski.
Here.
Councilperson Ramcho will be out.
You said again?
Caucus?
Oh, yes, right, repeat it.
Okay, Councilperson Ramcho will be out for this meeting, for this caucus. Councilperson Pontiano. It's an inside joke, I guess. Councilperson Young.
Here.
Councilperson Osborne.
Here.
Councilperson Coleman.
Here.
Councilperson Rivera.
Here.
Councilperson Waterman.
Here.
And Council President Lavarro.
Here.
We have 8 members in attendance. Council President, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. Our first order of business, who did we say? Lauren. Yes. Come on up. We have Lauren Hart here to speak on the resolution related to the open space grant.
Yes. I'm sorry. He's speaking on 10I.
It's 10I.
Right. Resolution 15-120. That's a resolution amending Resolution 14-759, adopted on November 25th, 2014, authorizing the City of Jersey City to accept the Hudson County Open Space Trust Grant on behalf of the City of on behalf of Jersey City Board of Education for the regeneration of multi-purpose field and the Ed Ford Athletic Complex at Caden Point, to remove the Board of Education as a grantee in the grant agreement, and to make other changes to the grant agreement as required by the Board of Education.
Can I ask a question on this before we start? Why is the Board of Ed doing this?
Why are they removing their name?
I don't know. I don't work for the Board of Ed. I'll give you a brief summary of what's gone on. The Board of Ed owns the property. The City of Jersey City, through a lease agreement, maintains the property in exchange for housing the Recreation Department. The Jersey City Soccer Association, who I represent, has begged the city and the board for years to renovate the field, turf and lights. I approached then Charles Epps and then Mayor Healy, can we get started if we raise the money? Give us permission to do it. Everyone said fine. The board said you can do it as long as it doesn't cost us a penny. August of 2013, myself and a few other people submitted an open space grant. With the help of David Donnelly, the City of Jersey City, with the support of Board of Ed. It's a resolution that you'll find here in that packet that you have. They're supporting it. I don't know why at this point they're saying they want their name removed. I know they do have a new legal counsel. They also have outsourced some of their legal work, and maybe in attempts to protect them, even though this is a grant that we're getting. It's a grant. It's $400,000. For whatever reason, they seem to want to remove their name from it. They just want the City of Jersey City to help push this through. We've accounted for close to $1 million of money to renovate this field. No cost to taxpayers, no cost to the Board of Ed.
My two sons played down there for years.
Right.
I sponsor a team there.
Yes.
But still,
Thank you.
something is wrong that the Board of Ed is backing out of this.
The only thing that I can say to you is that they do have new legal counsel, and I spoke to John Hallinan, who is the assistant corporate counsel here, that he has made contact with them. We're in the process of solidifying a shared services agreement that's going to outline the roles and responsibilities for all parties so that this can get done without any further hiccups. I had a $150,000 credit a year ago, expired January because of people delaying things like this. We're in danger of losing the $400,000 open space grant. This shared services agreement, which should come through in the next 2 to 3 weeks, should cover everything and hopefully allow us to move forward so that we can have the construction completed by opening day in September. That's provided we don't have any other delays.
For a delay, but I'd like to get an answer as to why
Well, I
the
think
Board of Ed.
Councilman needs to add something to this because I've been around here so long. When the Board of Education bought the land from the complex from the city in the 90s.
97.
And as part of that agreement, the Board of Ed said, oh, we will buy it and it'll become, part of the Board of Ed forever. But city, you will maintain it. And that's everything from lights to, you know, and we've grappled over that over the years, but that was the arrangement. So I know that their understanding is that the city's totally responsible for taking care of it.
Board of Ed back then, just as well as I do.
I do, but you're saying that, you know, why are they backing out? I think that's always been their view. That's how they look at it. We're on the hook to take care of it any way it is, and they don't want to be part of any taking care of it.
They want us to do it,
So-
but again, from a legal standpoint, I just think they want hands off, and someone took a look at this and said, oh, you know what? Our name shouldn't be on this, take it off.
Exactly, I think that's what happened.
I don't think there's
think it's anything more-
anything changed.
Yeah, and I don't think it's anything more, you know,
And again,
nefarious
the
than that.
comprehensive shared service agreement that we're working on, that you guys will be voting on probably in 2 or 3 weeks, should cover everything so that we all know what's going on. Thank you. Hope to see you guys out there in September. Thanks for your support.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll bring up Mr. Cotter. So this is related to the second reading ordinance. And he's here only for this matter, so we'll get him
Ordinance
in and out.
15-010, to the ordinance vacating a portion of West Street in accordance with the stipulation of settlement dated July 25th, 2012, and pursuant to the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan.
So the business administrator thought that either me or Jeff should be here in case there's any questions.
Oh, no, Joyce.
No,
This has been a hot issue for almost 2.5 years. And as far as people in the neighborhood are concerned, they don't want it. The issue with the park is a lot of BS go around there. It's gonna cost millions, and I understand in here there's something that says if the city doesn't build a park right away, land goes back to the owner. That's number one. Well, and I don't think we should be giving away anything. We don't want the traffic on Magnolia from 42-story buildings, 6-story garages. And as far as I'm concerned, why do we have a planning board? If you guys make a decision, you had a redevelopment plan, and now all of a sudden, this guy goes, oh, I'm gonna take you to court. The city, I'm not blaming this administration because it was the prior administration. And all of a sudden, they backed off, they let this fellow, this corporation do what they want. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong. I spoke to the Port of Authority today, and there may be a problem with the Port of Authority on this issue. There's a problem with the people in the neighborhood. It's a hot issue. You're gonna block the sunlight of all those 1- and 2-family homes. You're gonna destroy that whole section of a damn good neighborhood. And I don't care, they're saying we can't go to court. Go to court, let them take us to court. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on out-of-town lawyers. We have 23 or more lawyers upstairs. We don't want it in the neighborhood. The neighborhood doesn't want it.
Understood.
And it's a hot issue, and believe me, it's not gonna go away, Bob. And, you know, I don't know what transpired back in the other administration, but it was wrong what they did.
This is a street vacation that's part of that legal settlement that was approved by the previous administration. The council approved that legal settlement, and this is the last official action that city is obligated to take under the legal settlement. Because it's a legal settlement, I can't really respond to questions as to our obligations, other than as far as I know, we agreed to do this, and they've come in with their request vacating the land at the southern end of West Street, which they own on both sides of the street. And they had asked for more, and we said, no, you can't have more. You can only have what was agreed to when we did the settlement, which is what you owned at that time. They went and bought more land, but we said, no, we're not going to agree to that vacation. So this actually got rejected by planning, and they went back and moved the line further south. So we're vacating less. We're vacating only what was agreed to in that settlement from whenever that was, 2012 or whatever.
I will only add that this was done through the settlement agreement. The settlement itself was approved by council, and then the redevelopment plan was actually amended, and the amendment has to be approved by this body. And the way the documents interlace, it's really not something that we're going to be able to undo. Even if we don't take this action on this piece of legislation today, or on Wednesday, we're still going to be in a position where we're going to end up doing this, whether it's by court order or by the vote of this body. Unfortunately, and I hear you, Councilman, it's a frustrating thing, because this is not what anyone wanted, but this is where we are.
Yeah, we never went to court to fight it, to stop it.
I
They just said, yeah, go ahead, do what you want. The city said, yeah, they can build 42 stories where it's under five-story area. Yeah, it's in an area where only, I think they're allowed 5 stories, Bob? I think 4 stories. Or 4 stories? And then all of a sudden, I mean,
Councilperson Coleman, and then Bob will respond to exactly what,
Okay, my question is, Jeremy just said that we'll have to, or that, no, not we'll, I don't know if he said will, that's why I'm asking the question, that the redevelopment plan will have to be approved. In other words, am I clear that it is not approved at this moment, which means if it's not approved at this moment, we have to approve it?
No, the redevelopment plan has already been amended.
So if we were not to take this action, we would actually have to go back and change the redevelopment plan, which wouldn't be possible because of the way the settlement agreement and the redevelopment plan are layered into each other now. But the point of the matter is irrespective of what we do with this one piece, we can't undo the settlement. And because that settlement was already approved by this body and approved through the courts. So if we don't take this action, they're just gonna take us into court and enforce the settlement that way. And we're gonna
And
spend.
still have to
exactly-
do this.
Exactly. So we're gonna end up right back here.
To answer your question, Councilman. It was in an area of 4 to 8 stories, depending on how much land you owned. So it would have been 8 stories because it's a big lot. It goes all the way from Summit to Baldwin. It had previously, before we adopted the 20 plan back in 2010, been zoned Central Business District, which allowed for an 11-story building. The 11-story building would have been 600 feet long because they own 600 feet of land from Summit to Baldwin. So they had come in with a plan an architect had drawn up showing that they had X number of units in that 600-foot-long, 11-story building. And they said, well, we don't really want to see an 11-story building 600 feet long. So we agreed to go taller. The settlement with the law department that was worked out got up to 42 stories. We didn't want to see 42 stories either, but that was the settlement that was worked out. The law department didn't want to fight the case. I asked Bill Matsakudis why he didn't want to fight the case. I don't know the answer to that question. But rather than fight, we settled.
find out why this was never contested, number one. Number two, the land was a dry cleaner's land. It's probably highly contaminated. And, you know, as I said, why bother having you made a redevelopment plan for this whole area, and all of a sudden, they come along and it's changed. It's wrong. And they should have fought it in court, and they should fight it in court. Now they should go back or tell the developer, scale his project down. The people up there do not want it. You know.
I agree with you that when this came up, it should have been fought in court. But unfortunately, that wasn't the action that was taken. And so one of the obligations that we have as a board is that we are stewards of this entity. And when obligations are made, we have to live up to those obligations, even if we weren't the ones who made them. And when you undo those obligations, the ramifications can be very severe for the entity. And so when you look at a situation like this, it's unfortunate because it's really not what we would have wanted and what we would have done collectively as a board, but it's where we find ourselves today. We can try to undo it, and I'm telling you, on the analysis, it's going to be very hard to do, and we're going to expose the city to different types of risk, both financial and then ending right back up to where we are here anyway. Or we can move this thing forward and then ensure that as developers go through the process of actually developing the building, that as many aspects of the development are in line with how we envision the city moving forward as possible. It's not the best option if we had the thing from the beginning, but it's what we have now.
Well, why don't we do this?
Postpone it and bring the developers in here. They sold it. The Robin Hood people sold it to somebody else now.
I don't think it's closed yet. We're in the process of trying to sell it.
A couple of months ago, and they said they own it.
Did they meet with you?
Yeah, yeah.
HAP, yeah.
I didn't see.
Yeah, I don't,
Councilman Ramshaw?
Sorry I'm late. Just got out of the hospital. But did the community got any input in this? Was any meeting about this project?
No. We found out it in the neighborhood. Look, the reason I'm sitting here today is because the council person who was supposed to vote no voted yes, and that was the 5th vote. The mayor voted against it, Full voted against it, and you voted against it, Rolando, and Dave Donnelly voted against it. But, you know, nothing was ever discussed with the neighborhood. The people up in that area are, I'll tell you, they're furious.
I agree with you.
You got a judge living up there, you got a lot of prominent people, and they don't want this.
Listen, I agree that this is not how we would have done it. And as I said already, that this development is not in line with the vision that we've all collectively pushed forward in the area, but it's where we are today, and undoing it is not really feasible at this point in time, Council.
We're not saying undo it, let's hold it off, let's bring them in, and Bob, Jeremy, and a couple of us sit down.
Why we can't table it and
Let the councilman question be answered by the developer.
I personally have no problem with the developer coming in. To speak it. Well, our next developer come on Wednesday, if we can get it done. HAP, I guess. I don't know if HAP owns it yet, but.
They read the contract purchasers or they own it.
Yeah.
Right.
So there are two options being discussed, which is tabling it, and the Corporation Council suggested bringing them to Wednesday's meeting, possibly, and having that conversation at the council meeting. Councilperson Cole?
We're legally bound to do whatever this ordinance is telling us to do. It doesn't sound like we really have an option unless we're going to default our contract. I mean, I would like to hear from the developer too, but I don't want to I wouldn't want to vote on putting the city in a process that's going to cost legal fees and wind up to be the same thing. I think we need to really think this out. I mean, if we're doing something to show off for the community, I think this is not the one to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? In other words, this is already a legal contract, and even if we table it now, we're gonna have to approve this because the city is obligated to do that. So to me, by holding it off right now, we're just putting on a show for the community that we tried to do something to stop it, but I'd rather tell the community the truth, is that we can't stop it. It's a legal binding contract and that we have to do it. I mean, it's not a good thing, but that's what it really is right now.
I think I respect what the councilman say. If that's the case, the city doesn't need the city council. Let us see corporation council decide everything. So now, we have a concern, you know what I'm saying? So the community would like to know more detailed information. So let us have a meeting, you know what I'm saying? And even though we have no choice, only we have choice say yes. Sounds crazy, but if that's the case, still we like to know. So let him show up, answer our questions, right?
This is the resolution that was adopted in July of 2012 with the settlement stipulation, and it says as one of the many things that has to be done by both sides, vacation of portion of West Street, concurrent with the city's adoption of the amendatory ordinance, which was the ordinance to amend the redevelopment plan to permit 42 stories, right? Or as soon thereafter as possible, the city agrees to adopt a street vacation ordinance in accordance with New Jersey statutory and regulatory requirements to vacate all portions of West Street adjacent to any property owned by the property owner, that was the guy who sued us. Said vacated portions of West Street shall revert in title to the property owner free and clear of public rights of way. So what happened was they came in with the vacation ordinance because they had purchased another parcel further north on West Street, and they moved the line to that. And we said, no, that's not what we agreed to back in 2012. So they amended their request for vacation. They pushed the line one lot further south. So it's back to the lines that are there when the settlement was reached, when this guy owned that property. So.
Two things. One, Councilman, to your point, obviously the city needs the council, and what I can't emphasize enough is when you guys make a decision, the impact of that decision is real, and it's lasting. So just like when you guys make a decision today on something that we're doing going forward, it's gonna be followed, and it's gonna tie the hands of the city potentially for years to come. In 2012, when that council made a decision, it was real, and it was lasting, and it ties the city's hands going forward. That's how it works, and that's the awesome responsibility that you folks have.
Council.
Right. We're not voting yet, right?
Yeah, but
Well,
we're considered the
to
council.
me, that argument is a little bit hollow because that's akin to us saying, well, another council voted to spend money, they approved some contract, so we're gonna not vote to pay the bill. I mean, that's just kind of silly. Like, yes, it is also silly that we have to vote on stuff that really, like, I don't know why we have to vote on it, but we do this all the time where we have to vote to pay bills And it's not like we can't vote to pay the bills. Of course we'd have to pay them. If we all vote no, we'd still have to pay them. So, yeah, it's a little bit, to me, this is like paperwork. It's unfortunate paperwork, but it's like, it's just cleanup paperwork. And I think it's a little bit unfair to say to the professionals up here that they're trying to just tell us what to do when there's a legal agreement. I mean, unless we're just deciding we're not gonna obey the law, it seems pretty clear cut to me.
That's what it sounds like we're being asked to do, not obey the law. We have a contract.
It's not obeying the law. You go back to court and try to have it reversed.
Councilperson Robson.
I just want to say that in the future, project like this, the developer should meet with the council person for the ward, have a community meeting before this comes to us for a vote, or before it comes to you on corporation council. And I think we all would be agreeing of that.
So and I am gonna try to reach out to have the developer come on Wednesday.
I mean, what's the big deal to have developer coming some answer questions what his concern is the district?
You should be here, you should be here right now.
Everybody agrees with
good.
that. Everybody agrees
Agrees
with
with
that.
that, yeah, he could do that.
That's why I just said I'm gonna try and have
Yes, that's it, you know.
You read this here, there's nothing about how many units there are, 6-story parking garage, where's it gonna come out on? Baldwin Avenue, Summit Avenue, or Magnolia? You know, there's nothing in here.
So let it come. All right, good. All right.
Councilman John, your point is well taken. The corporation council will make every effort to make him, the developer, available at the council meeting.
So we should have residents from the ward to Wednesday night meeting, just like we sit and listen to everybody else. We can listen to the constituents from your ward with a concern with the developer.
Just you
All right.
to say.
So get them here on Wednesday night as well.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Chico.
Thank you.
What item is that for? What item is that?
That was 4C we just did.
Second reading.
Okay.
Is here for the first reading ordinances that deal with self-storage.
3E, F, G, and H.
3E, F, G, and H.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna start with 3H because it kind of sets the stage for the other ones.
E, F, G, and H.
So we'll start with H, Councilwoman.
Okay, the floor is yours.
3H is the addition or amendment of two definitions in the land development ordinance. The first is for a business incubator. This is an increasingly popular use, especially in growing entrepreneurial cities. We have an applicant specifically who is looking to possibly do one of these down along Garfield Avenue, and I believe there's also some potential for doing some type of incubator use over by Liberty Science Center. So this will facilitate both of those. The second definition is for a self-storage facility. It's not a use that we currently have defined, but I think we're probably all pretty familiar with these uses that are located scattered throughout the city, and we define them, and then coming up I'll show you where we've zoned to permit them.
So we have them, question, but we have it today, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
we're just- Is this a cleanup thing, or?
It's
Like, let me ask the question differently. How are the people who are doing it today doing it?
right. Over the course of time, there's been some question as to what they should be categorized as. At times, we've seen them as warehouse uses. Other times, they've been kind of seen as a retail service. And we recently realized that without defining them as a separate use, they could wind up in places that we don't want to see them. Yeah. Yep.
Any questions? None? Thank you.
So following that train of thought with the self-storage facilities, let's move on to the Montgomery Street redevelopment plan amendment. That's 3E. We have added self-storage facilities as a permitted use. In fact, there's one being built there right now. On
Grand Street.
On Grand Street, yeah. And in the process, I did some cleanup of old language within the plan, but the really only substantive change is that self-storage uses will now be permitted in that area. Similarly, moving along to Liberty Harbor redevelopment plan, that's 3G. I have added self-storage uses as a permitted use. That's all. And finally, 3F. I've added self-storage facilities as a permitted use in the industrial district and in the highway commercial zone. And in the port industrial district, we've added surface parking. There's a lot of warehousing and distribution facilities over there that need some remote off-site parking from their buildings, and just kind of threw that in there with it.
Any questions?
That's it. Thank you. You too.
This will be a Robert regarding for last council meeting about the recreation department. So I asked him to invite the director of recreation department. He's here, so when we get a chance,
Okay, since that'll be possibly a little lengthier discussion, let's get some of the other folks out of the way. You guys happy?
Happy here for one.
Come on, Happy.
He's here for item 3D, which is ordinance 15021.
Yes. That's an amendment to Chapter 175 that was actually brought to our attention by Councilman Rivera. The fact that fruit peddlers who peddle fruit on trucks in the city receive an agricultural market license. And if you read the definition, it restricts those vendors from cutting up the fruit. They have to sell it whole. If they're selling oranges, apples, they have to be whole. But a lot of these vendors are actually cutting the fruit up and putting it in cups. So we wanted to expand the ordinance to allow them to do that. And then we're going to use Chapter 24 of the State Health Code to make sure that they wash their hands properly and that they have gloves and that they clean and sanitize their knives and their utensils and things like that.
Those kind of food vendors in the street, do they have a water to do it?
Right, how do they
clean? That's what my concern is that.
The fruit vendors, or they?
Those kind of like, vendors sell fruits in the small trucks, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it's totally illegal, so say this past summer, when I received phone calls that they're slicing up fruit in the back of the truck and they don't have water to do it, the ordinance says that it needed to be whole fruit, that they weren't allowed to slice it at all. So the question wouldn't come up. But if the ordinance is expanded and it allows for it, then we'll ensure that they either have a portable hand wash sink, which is now available, and we're going to be stressing the vendors at the festivals this summer, need to actually have a portable sink with hot and cold water in it so that they can wash their hands properly. They're not going to be allowed to use like handy wipes or anything like that.
These things are happening, like undeveloped country usually sell on the things on the street, you know what I'm saying? So I was concerned is that we go back like a 1940 and 30 in some country, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My concern is that it's especially summertime, it's a public health issue, sanitation, knives, so on, so make sure that any trucks able to do those kind of job have to bring hot waters, right? How hot is there have to be waters?
The water needs to probably be about 110 degrees.
110 degrees.
Any hotter than that, they'll burn their hands.
Yes, so it's going to make sure that when those guys apply for the license.
It's going to make sure that when they put soap on their hands that they're able to lather it up and they're able to,
Yes.
Because meat is it's a totally different water temperature than fruit. You don't have to have 160 degrees for fruit.
Oh, you can't wash your hands at 160 degrees. And with meat, you'd have a cross-contamination issue possibly.
But
with
just
fruit.
In other words, why not leave it whole fruit and monitor that it stays like that? Because you're creating a whole nother health issue by if they leave the knife, the flies, or whatever's all over it, they drop it on the floor and they're putting it back in the thing. You're creating a whole nother thing to monitor by allowing them to cut it. Why don't you just leave it whole and not allow them to cut it? And that way, none of that stuff has to happen.
See, that's why I agree with you 100%, you know what I'm saying? It's a public safety issue in the summertime.
Well, that's the question here. That's the question that, for the council.
We would like to get expanded their type of business, but we understand, but also this council look at as a public health. You know, as you say, if you leave the knife, it's a flies and the dusty from the streets, you know, really 110 degree actually sanitize the knife and a bowl. You understand?
What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is that we just make them adhere to having the sink, the mobile sink, to wash their hands.
They cut the one whole piece of the
I
watermelon.
agree with
Right.
you.
Some left
I agree
over.
with you.
To order to keep the fresh, they have to use the ice basket some way, have to do. So now only a hot water issue, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, this would be for immediate sale. This would hopefully, anything they'd slice up, they would sell within the next 2 to 3 hours after they sliced it.
Can't be sure.
Folks, Councilman Ramshaw?
So do you have any idea how many trucks there are on the streets in Jersey City that sell?
I would say based on this past summer citywide, I saw about 5. There might be more licenses, there might be some that I just didn't happen to encounter, but
This is ones that do fruit, right?
this is only agriculture.
How many trucks do we have out there selling food?
Selling food,
No, food, I'm asking
He's
you very
asking about
particular.
regular food.
Because my point is going to be this, it's up to the council, but we have a lot of trucks out there selling food already, and they're selling meats and cooked, and Happy does a great job making sure that they're inspected and that people aren't getting sick. So this wouldn't be a big lift to do this, would it?
No, no.
That's the question I think is being asked here. Is this going to be a hard job for you guys to make sure that the public is kept safe?
no, it's a very limited number of vendors, really.
The reason why I asked is because it is gonna cost the vendor more money to install a sink, a water maker, and all of that stuff.
They don't have to if they-
Or it's better like Councilwoman Diane, I'm not finished, better the way Councilwoman Diane Coleman said, leave it the way it is. Whole fruit, don't cut it up.
Well,
This way
they
everybody's
won't have
happy.
to buy the sink if they don't cut it.
So that's what I'm saying,
So
then you're gonna
then
put
it'll
them
be
more money.
optional. They don't have to buy the sink. So if you make it so that if they cut it, they have to wash their hands, then they'll have to buy it. If they don't want to buy the sink, they can just sell it whole.
I think we got, I just want to make sure we're talking about 4G.
No, 3D. 3D.
3D?
3D.
First reading.
Yeah, I think that.
Come to you and request that? In other words, I'm trying to find out why we're doing this. Did one of those fruit trucks or whatever come to you
Because-
and ask you to do this so that they can sell sliced fruit?
They have sold it, and I've had to stop them from selling it because the ordinance doesn't allow them to. But we're just trying to open up an avenue now where they would be allowed to do this.
Any other questions? Or comments? None? What's that, Councilman?
It's a. They're rather new, you rarely see them.
Right, that's what I'm saying, I'm trying to.
Yeah, like, sometimes they'll make makeshift, they'll take one of those Gatorade coolers, and they'll fill that with water, and then they'll put a bucket on the floor and try to use that. But these portable sinks have their own basin, and they have storage for hot and cold water, and you can actually mix the hot and the cold and wash your hands with this. It's, I'm not sure how much it costs, it may cost a few $100s, but like, if you're going to be doing this 5 days a week, if you're going to be going to like all of the festivals, not only in Jersey City, yeah, if you're in the business.
You have to get it if you don't cut fruit. Yeah. Well, don't the other ones have
Councilman
sinks?
Yun?
They actually have sinks built into their trucks.
Only to keep the water is 110 degrees. you have to have a propane gas in the car, you know what I'm saying, to warm up the waters. So a lot of different things
Right.
that you require. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where they come from this idea, you know what I'm saying? And the public,
I'm still trying to figure out.
it's a health issue.
Okay,
Right.
understood you.
Like where the
Your
hot
point is
dog
made,
man
sir.
wash his
Health
hands.
concerns here. So,
Like if you have, like the the hot dog vendor,
Right.
that's on the, where do they wash their hands?
Even those little push carts with the umbrellas, they actually now, not all of them have it, but they actually have a small sink that's available on them. And this year, I've made all of those vendors get those sinks, and I've told them that when they come for renewal this year, if they don't have the small sink unit in their push cart or in their truck, they're not going to get renewed. So they do have a sink, actual built-in sink.
what are other municipalities doing around this cut fruits?
I believe it's allowed in most.
Yeah. But similar requirements, or did you look at other municipalities or cities, or?
No, I did it myself.
Okay, so I think that there are some public health concerns and so forth, but if there's no other questions or new information? Okay. Thank you, Happy?
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Who else do we have here for, Larry?
Oh, yeah, Larry.
Bob's got a couple, though.
Yeah, Larry only has one. But I don't know what it is. Which one is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're gonna hear for the food vendors, you guys better.
What are you here for?
No, I just wanted to know, I was just
Which one?
The grant from the Hudson County Office on Aging, resolution.
Resolution 10H.
10H?
10H, resolution
Larry,
15,
10H. Larry
119.
Eccleston here from the
Right.
senior.
It's a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City accepting the grant and authorizing the execution of a grant agreement with the County of Hudson Department of Health and Human Services Office of Aging.
Which one is that?
10H.
NH. Take it under that.
So 25% of the matching the city of Jersey, right?
Right. But there's a problem with that I was going to discuss. It costs us more than that 25% to run the programs. The grant doesn't go up. As a matter of fact, over the last 5 years, there's been a small cut here, a small cut there. And of course, these are federal monies for the most part. And we keep hearing it on the news every time they cut a little bit. It's not a lot, but over a number of years, it starts to grow. And the director was concerned, and when I did budgets on this, it certainly comes out to more than the $302,000 that is the match. It could come from other places in the budget. I mean, we've been running this program since 1965, I guess, 1966. And certainly it's a needed program, the home delivered meals for homebound seniors. I don't know how you say no to somebody when they're. The match is identified here as 302,000. I guess it's been appropriated, and that was part of the problem, is that we get the total figure, we put the 25% on it before we do any budgets on the program. Once you start working the budgets on the program, it's more money. It's about another $200,000. Now, I know some of it comes from CSBG. We get another $144,000. So we're probably, and it can be worked out in budget with the budget people, because we'll need, every year I come to the end, in November, we have to start hunting money to keep the program going. Yes.
I just want to repeat what I think that I'm hearing, which is that we have a program that's been in existence for a while. The funding kind of is year over year has gone down a little bit, so you're kind of proactively warning us that if we want to continue at the same service level, when it comes budget time, we're going to need to address this.
Yes.
Is that accurate? I just want to say thank you. You were the first person who's done that, and thank you. So that's exactly what managing your budget is supposed to be. So I'm appreciative.
Part of it, Candace already said.
Just have to say at this that you guys doing a great job with the Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
And I know our ward, down the south, the rest that we needed, because you made a few adjustments to it, and I actually received over 100 phone calls, which you and I had a conversation over, which I had to go over there and we had to meet up.
And then I spent the day over there
Yes.
with them.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, great job. Thank you for the heads up. And, we'll continue to do whatever we can to help you with this program.
Councilperson Coleman?
My question is, how can we make the program and the money match? In other words, this is a level of service program, and if the funds have been reduced, how can we make the funds that are available match the program? How can we do that? Or is that possible?
No, you can't, we would have to cut people who are receiving meals off the, most of this money goes to meal purchase. To purchase, well, actually, we purchase meals. And it's varied. We have hot meals for our lunch sites that are, there's 9 lunch sites in the city where senior citizens eat, and they receive hot meals delivered. The home-delivered meals are frozen meals that come with fresh fruit and milk and bread. And we purchased them both from different vendors, and they were out to bid, and the vendors have been pretty good with us. They've held the line for the last 6 years, I guess, on the prices. And while they've said to me, our costs are going up too, I said, we just don't have the money to increase, and as it went, they bid and they came back in at the.
So seniors would lose food if you cut.
Right.
That's the only thing that could happen, right?
Yeah,
Seniors would
or we
lose
fund
food.
budget.
Okay.
We don't want to see those.
No, I don't.
No, or you would put people on a waiting list, and we have never had that policy in the city. I mean, I've sat in city councils prior to this and said we can reduce spending by putting people, when we run out of money, we just say, well, you have to go on a waiting list. But the council has always gone against that idea. They don't want it, I don't want to do that, but it's not my decision. About 200,000 on a grant of 1,200,000. Okay, but you make it up at budget time. I mean, I'll sit when it's budget time.
Make sure you keep on sending the council president email.
Are you here too? Larry? I just wanted to let you know. Okay.
The seniors at 3060 Kennedy Boulevard and on Sip Avenue are happy to have you and your wife back.
Yeah.
Larry's always saying I'm back.
I've been doing the nutrition all along.
Just do me a favor, get the movies back to Newport from 440, all right?
That's not our deal, that was out to bid.
Yeah,
and-
well, for $6,000, you can make about 700 seniors happy.
I know.
I had a meeting with 50 of them, and boy, they
There's
all
another year,
want that.
we'll
I know.
try to get through this
But
year.
I'm glad you're back, you and your wife.
Thank you.
We have
Thank
Larry, it's prepared meal, right?
The meal that you're getting is prepared already, right?
Prepared.
Do they have
We
a
got
sink?
director
You wash your
getting
hand when they finish?
He's trying to be funny. He's trying to be funny. Come on.
all my drivers wash their hands in the sink. We have a garage set up, and I had sinks put into the garage so they could wash up, okay?
That's not a make.
And Happy has inspected our facility.
Okay.
Oh, which items do you have?
10E and 10F.
10E and 10F.
Yep.
Resolutions 15-116 and 117. These are amending the contracts under the Community Service Block Grant for program year October 1st, 2013 through September 30th, 2014. And you have the other one for October 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2015. It's 10E and 10F.
Got you.
10A is reprogramming.
Yeah.
So 10 is reprogramming, in regards to the year, so I believe we captured some funds. Can't hear me? You hear me now? Okay. So ideally, 10E is the recapturing of funds. So ideally, we're recapturing about $16,000 on 34 cents. It's being reallocated to HHS and the Let's Celebrate network. And then listening to what Larry just said in regards to why we're reallocating to that, there's a deficit in regards to his grant and dollars. And then ideally, Let's Celebrate was cut, from what I understand, over $40,000. And so we discussed it with the state in regards to if we can even approve these allocations in regards to it. They were in agreement with yes, and this is how we are recapturing the dollar amount and allocating to those groups. So for item E. And then item F is, good question? Yes.
10E,
Yes.
these dollar amounts are dollars that the group that you have listed didn't spend
Yep.
throughout the contract year.
Correct.
And once the contract expired, these dollars were left. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4 groups here, we worked with them to try to get them to make sure they spend down their dollars because we have a timeliness requirement. And ideally, 2 of the groups, I think it was Women's Risings and Grace Around Forest, I believe. No, I'm sorry, Women's Risings and Match. Actually, we have correspondence on file that they just didn't have the capacity to draw down on them. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, no, you answered the question I had. I was just surprised at the amount left in Women Rising.
Right, me too. Women Rising, I'm surprised they have that left.
No, we do have, if you guys want the correspondence, I can forward you the email. The email for correspondence in regards to, yep. Yeah. Okay. Make a note.
Yeah. You send that to the entire council?
Yeah, I will send it to the entire council, making a note.
What's 10F?
10F is ideally from the last time we're going into contract with the new dollars that have been allocated from the state. If you remember the last caucus meeting that was here, this is the contract that we're going into the initial round of funding. So if you go into the resolution, it indicates the money's here. So this is ideally getting your approval that we can administer these dollars for the groups that have been awarded.
Any questions regarding 10F? Councilperson Coleman?
Congratulations, for 13 years, I have never seen CDBG dollars come before April 1st. This is the first time I've seen that.
Thank you for that.
Nonprofits. Huh?
CSBG.
Oh, CSBG?
CSBG?
Oh, yes, CSBG. Sorry. The programs are gonna be happy to see that. They're gonna be happy. The nonprofits.
The program is from October 1st, 2014 through,
December 31st, 2015.
so they're already halfway through their.
Yeah, and then ideally, I mean, don't hold me to it, but I think the other round is coming soon. So we're just communicating, trying to get things caught up to speed so that everyone is able to, do the services that they want to do successfully in the city, so.
Any other questions? Councilman Sullivan?
Some type of, I don't know, executive summary on, for each of these, like, so if we're,
Program?
yeah, like, so in theory, like, when I look at this, and I'm making this up, so I don't think I'm picking on specific ones, but like, 17,000 goes to Boys and Girls Club of Hudson County, and 60,000 goes to educational arts team. What, in terms of outcomes, how many people are they serving? What exactly are they doing? So it's hard for me to kind of understand this breakdown and.
Well, the reporting definitely, I mean, it doesn't indicate like service. If we're, the data reporting is just the line item, so it's very vague in regards to why we allocate the dollars, but there are, like you said, I can provide an executive summary as to what the scoring model is in regards to the federal guidelines, in regards to why certain groups have different year-over-year performance rankings, right? So ideally, for instance, if we wanted to give an X amount of dollars, the recapturing dollars, even with DCA, certain elements have to be approved, right? Whether it's timeless, whether you're a 501, whether you're a 501c, how many you're serving in the community, and then the different other guidelines that I can give. But I can.
Outcomes.
Outcomes? Yeah.
I remember there was, I mean, I'll be frank with you, those charts, they provided some charts and tables that showed like the number of people served.
Yeah,
They weren't terribly, like they didn't get into a whole lot of detail, or, I don't say detail, because they're not looking for detail, but they weren't terribly informational.
They weren't, so you want, okay, so that's not a big ask in regards to.
Councilperson Coleman?
Like to add to that, I don't think that has anything to do with how they, I mean, I don't know now, it might be different, but I remember too, several years ago, where it didn't matter if you serviced 5,000 people or 3,000 people, the figures were still different, and I don't know how they came up with those decisions, but I'm looking here, it looks a little more balanced out than it has in the past, so I'm saying congratulations, it looks like you're trying to pull it together. But it would be nice to have how many people are serviced for these dollars. It would be nice to have that.
Yeah, and what it's doing to make sure, like, allocation, like, if we believe, if we have a, huh?
Did we receive that, the spreadsheet?
The spreadsheet in regards to.
Yeah.
I think
it was for CSBG.
For CS, yeah, it was for CSBG.
I believe, did you send it to everybody?
Maybe not. Maybe we're just speaking past each other in terms of what I was looking for.
Right, go ahead.
And I don't need to sit here and drag this meeting out. I can just send you an email, but yeah, no, it's okay.
You might be referring to something, yes. I think it might have been the rating scores and so forth, and that might have been the, yeah. Yes, she's talking about outcomes and so forth.
You're monitoring and whether, like, are they hitting the goals?
Of our budget, we're spending this much towards health-related stuff, this much towards education, and this much towards seniors, and like just charts and breakdowns, and yeah, like, I mean, that would line up to what our values are as a city.
Sure.
It's hard for me to tell.
Yeah, but I think they're obligated to meet the guidelines of the funding source.
Sure, right, there's
In
a
other words, they
national
don't let
objective
us
aside, right?
decide what's more important. They tell you what's more important, and if you can find a program within their category, then you could fund it.
And
If you, but within those categories, there's, I would assume, priority, right?
Correct, so that's
Because
why.
we could choose 10 things related to childcare, or we could break it up and say there's
So
2
then-
related to childcare, 2 related, do you see what I'm saying? That's what I think.
So ideally, right now, I think if let most of everyone know about our consolidated plan and the survey that's out there and why it's so important for people to fill out the survey. And I will note, Councilwoman, we're at up to 932 responses, where 5 years ago we got close to 100. So this time around, in regards to responses, and there's a lot more that we can do in the city. We're talking about, the most, vulnerable parts of what we're doing. So in regards to what the council would like to see and to speak for, the consolidated plan indicates our priorities. And right now we're in the midst of planning that plan that's going to help us get our allocation of our dollars of what we're going to do, and then how we administer. So helping me and my group to get the voice out as to why this survey is so important, and writing the plan and writing our objectives is where it's going to be lined out in regards to, okay, for the next, and then the consolidated plan is for the next 5 years. So what we do today in these next 6 months and when it's due to HUD is going to indicate the future of the next 5 years with the Division of Community Development.
When is the survey close?
I got the email, and there seemed to be some technical difficulty. I'm leaving it open. I just have to get approval because where I'm at right now, The director, Director Cruz only approves me for $25 a month to keep SurveyMonkey open. If I go over 1,000, it goes to $300, right? So in regards, but I just need budgetary approval if I keep it open, but then thereafter 1,000, it's 15 cents per response. And so right now I'm gonna keep it open, I'm at 942, so, you know, I have to seek out approval. I know, I mean, for me, I mean, it is, I think absolutely. I haven't gotten the approval, so I can't speak of that, but that's putting it on record that right now we're at 942, after 1,000, it's 15 cents thereafter. I'll keep it open as long as it needs to be, and if I need to eat it, it's fine, right? It's not, we're gonna make progress, it's okay. So, you know, but it's important. I mean, definitely 1,000 still isn't what we're working on. So that's why the plan is so important and what we're doing the next 6 months and when it's due to HUD. So. Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
Go to,
Surveys completed.
I'm gonna go to Bob Magro, then Jerry after that.
You're welcome.
Then Ryan after that. Okay?
Good evening, all.
Bob?
I have 4 items. Resolution 10V as in Victor. We're renewing our cell phone contract with Verizon Wireless. So we have a certain quantity of cell phones which are allocated to city staff, also some tablets and some broadband cards. So the bulk of this contract is basically paying for service for all the devices that are currently being used by city staff.
City staff have tablets as well?
There are some tablets. I believe a few of them were used in recreation. We're going to be probably acquiring some additional tablets for the rollout of the new spatial data logic computer application in HEDC, Health and Human Services, and in Public Works.
Yes, how many cell phone in the city of Jersey we have?
I anticipated that question. I have a spreadsheet that I'm going to email to all of the city council members. That'll give you the complete inventory of what we're paying for from Verizon Wireless.
Okay, but when you send to us, can you divide by department, how many phones? Because as I understand, none of the city council members actually ask cell phone.
Oh, I got one.
You got one?
Yeah. You was on, where were you?
Yes, it's okay.
Everyone received it. I have my own, you know. That's why I try to participate in save tax-based dollars. So I decide to use mine. No, I'm just kidding. So now, by department, you know what I'm saying? Also, they include.
I don't know if we have a way of sorting them out by department, but I'll check it out. I'll let you know.
Usually we have by department.
No, we're actually capturing data from Verizon's database, and they don't have any information as to what city department. We'd have to actually add that data to the spreadsheet in order for you to split it out.
Yeah. And the tablet, and especially a broadband card. You know, I'd like to know how many pieces of broadband and which department most they use it.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, we'll see if we can add that to the
I
spreadsheet for you.
think Councilman Young's right. I think when we look at costs of things.
Yeah.
When technology is a cost center, right? And so those are supposed to be charged back against the business units, if you will, quote unquote, the departments in this case, to see where they're getting spent from.
That's never happened before, Councilwoman. I doubt it's going to happen anytime soon, but we'll see.
Yeah.
In terms of charging it back to the department?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because that's usually the way it's done.
That's the way it's done, and that's the way it's done.
That's the way it's done in corporate America.
We just will budget requirements, but we can certainly do our own
Yeah.
kind of stuff internally.
Well, then who pays for it? In other words, if you don't have it broken down by department and the usage by department, who's paying for the telephone bills and the tablets?
Division of Information Technology, Department of Administration.
The way it's envisioned is that administration supports the other departments. So things that are shared, like phone service, is supported by administration and everyone else. It doesn't mean we have to do it that way, but just that's the way we do it.
No, it's the right way, it's the right structure. You're just saying usually there's an accounting method to do a chargeback so that you can understand. That's all.
Right.
real cost.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and resolutions 10W, 10X, and 10Y are, again, for the purchase of equipment for our new data center at London Avenue. We're buying SAN storage, network switches, and internet routers.
Questions?
Do we need a maintenance contract for this one?
Basically, everything we're buying is coming with 1-year maintenance. And beyond that, we have to actually pay for maintenance on the equipment.
Actually, as many of the city council meeting, I always bring up the issue that
Yes.
when we purchase like a software, a hardware, whatever is related to IT, they should come up with some idea that not only cost of this software or hardware, but also maintenance plan. First, second, third, how much will be?
Well, all the Cisco equipment we purchase goes on something that's called Cisco SmartNet maintenance. It's a yearly cost to us, and basically Cisco will guarantee all of the operation of their hardware and software for the effective life of the item. So we pay like a flat fee per year for maintenance for all of our Cisco gear citywide.
Councilor Marshall?
I got a question for you. Now, Councilman Young brought it up. On our phone that we got, why do we always have to take it back to you guys at IT to reprogram it? When like most of the time that the phone get down, the internet stop, it's on weekends. So now if a constituent send you an email, right, you gotta wait until you go to your computer to retrieve that email, because we don't have it on a private phone, I have it on the city phone. So why we can't call someone, and you don't need to give us the number on the meeting, but why can't we call someone that says, hey, this is what you do when you program the phone,
Right.
and you back up and running, instead of wait until Monday, drop it off on Monday,
Yep.
then pick it up back Monday. I had that issue today, so I know.
Right.
And I was in the hospital and I'm getting email.
Is there a tech support for that one?
Unfortunately, we are not a 24/7 operation.
Why couldn't we put together why can't we put together a step-by-step on how to get the phone? I assume this is like the email has to go back onto the phone, something like that. It might be a step-by-step protocol.
Well, I mean, the simple solution to that is you can just use your internet browser on your cell phone and go to the internet email portal.
And on the side.
Yeah.
Yes, no, that's not.
It should be a simple phone call.
What's that?
Down the road, having tiered tech support that somebody's on call on the weekends.
It's true, it's important, technology is.
Okay.
We're all on call on the weekends.
Thank you.
See?
They call us anytime of night.
That's why
I'm on call all the time.
We want shared services.
Bob,
Okay.
any other questions related to 10 and W? X and, what was the other one? Y, is it?
Yeah, it's W, X, and Y. The equipment for the London Avenue Data Center.
Okay.
Phone is done.
No questions,
2
anything
seconds,
else?
done.
That's it? Thank you, Bob,
Yeah.
thank you for your patience.
But they don't want to do that.
Jerry, thank you for your patience.
You agree?
We on call 24 hours a day.
Yeah. We are on call.
Jerry, are you answering for the fire department as well?
Yeah, we have 10 roll calls.
Okay, so you're going from 10L.
Actually, Jay.
Oh, excuse me.
10J?
10J.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna just let you go in order.
Okay.
Okay, we're starting with 10J.
10J is the first one.
J.D. Jones.
That's correct.
Or in Jerry. Depending how you spell it.
With Jerry Callo?
Sure. Back in September, this council passed an ordinance which mandated secondhand dealers like pawn shops to record their purchases electronically. This is the second part of that deal. We're going out on an RFP to contract with a vendor to provide that service, okay? There'll be no cost to the city. The vendor will get his money by these pawn shops, or get a license agreement with this company in order to track their purchases. This will help law enforcement deal with any stolen items, so on and so forth.
Okay. Any questions?
10L, that's correct. The next several have to do with our communication center. 10L is for the maintenance and support agreement with GTBM to provide service and maintenance to the CCTV link, our disaster recovery, internet service, and off-site storage software applications created by GTBM. Again, most of our hardware, software items are our proprietary systems, and we really don't have much of a choice as far as the vendors. This particular contract is $113,000. It's the same amount it was in 2013 and 2014 with no increase.
And Bojano.
Yes, sir.
How many CCTV cameras there are, and how many working and not working?
All right, the city has 217 CCTV cameras that belong to us. We have access to 355 cameras to OEM and some of the railroads. Currently, 39 are out of service. Okay, 14 are required to be replaced. 8 of the 14 already have been replaced. The problem with the cameras we're finding is most of them do not have to be replaced. When the cameras were located up on Central Avenue and moved to Bishop Street, the connections were not done correctly. Now we're going back and have to revisit all the cameras, and that's the bulk of the problems with the cameras. Yes. Yes. Cameras? Yeah, the city has 217. We have access to 355. Yes. We have 39 out of service. 14. Yes. 14 will require replacement, and 8 of those 14s have already been replaced.
14 replacement are part of that 39 number?
Yes.
What if the cameras like on West Side Avenue, have cameras on Ward F as well? The one on the street, who monitor those?
We do.
You guys,
Yes, down in Bishop Street, the communications center.
so how many of those cameras?
By location, I don't have that with me right now. I can find out for you, but it's 39 citywide. Yes.
Okay. Now, I know we voted on this a couple months ago. I don't know exact meeting, but is there any way that we could get better cameras and we have to repair and repair and repair?
The camera's not that bad of shape. Out of the total amount we only have, like I said, 14 they have to replace. The rest are just repairs. They're pretty expensive to replace them all, so there's no need to replace them.
If you could get that for me, that'd be great. Email me that.
You know the timetable? Do you know the timetable when this will be done? Because I know before we came with these cameras. That was last year.
Right. Well, we
So-
made some progress. We've had, it's taken so much time.
Yeah.
When we
Yeah.
say replacing them, we've gone
Right.
back and we've examined them and found
Okay.
out on the move is where most of the problems developed. Okay? The ones that have to be replaced, more than half have been replaced already.
Is there a plan to expand the program?
Right now, no.
Councilman DJ?
No, Chico asked the question I was gonna ask.
I want to add to what Jerry. That's what I was gonna ask you. Okay, why can't we not expand the program? Because these camera help solve crime, and I know that for a fact.
Yes, they
They
do.
really do help solve crime. That's why I have issue with these cameras, because part of my campaign promise when I was running for office is to create more CCTV camera in school district. So why can we not extend the program?
But we can, actually, it's always funding. We'd have to come back to the council and ask for funding.
Yeah, so, good, so we can. So how much is gonna be, what's the funding gonna be?
Or we can do a survey and come back to you and find out how many, if any area is in need of additional cameras. We'd like to put a camera on every single street corner. It's not possible, but we can do a survey, and if we determine additional cameras are needed, we'll move forward.
Every street corner, but there's a lot of hot spot that the police department know of and needed camera, and they have to take their own surveillance camera and put it there for 2-3 months.
Right.
And then they move it after the crime,
Right.
everything is done, and everybody feels it's okay, the camera is gone.
Eye in the sky.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
eye in the sky. Why, we need
Right.
camera in those areas.
Maybe you know what would be good if we can do a survey in the hotspots?
Sure.
And this way here,
Yeah.
we'll know how much we have to,
When
plan for
the
the
director
budget.
and the police chief review the crime statistics, you know, we can look at those places to find out there are cameras. If there are not cameras available, we'll have them installed in those areas.
This way we know where the
We need to
budget.
get the items kind in those hotspots.
Yeah, when you gonna get them?
We have it already, we just have to, it's mobile, right?
Over there, they'll go to next week. Their cameras.
Thank you.
Any other questions related to 10L? Sure. Hearing none, next item?
10M and 10N, I'm going to ask that they be withdrawn, okay? M and N, 10 both. Director Shea and I reviewed them last Friday, and we have some questions about the contracts and, correct, M and N. Yeah, it's okay. I know.
Yes, he is, don't believe him.
Keep going.
He just came out of the hospital.
Is O, 10O. Resolution authorizing agreement with GTBM for providing maintenance support of the Department of Public Safety land hardware system without public bidding. Again, this is maintenance and repair of our desktops, printers, communications devices to connect to the New Jersey State Police for the NCIC program. This is a proprietary system. Vendors have to be certified by the New Jersey State Police in order to operate the system. GTPM possesses the necessary certifications.
Jerry, you have two resolutions here where you use the term.
Without public bidding, 10Q is the same thing. I don't think that's right. I think we should have public bidding.
They're proprietary systems, Councilman, and even after a public bid, nobody else can bid on them.
How about 10Q? That's another one.
We get down to, we'll take a better look at it. Any questions on O?
Your max cost in 2015 was 268,000, and then in 2015, it's 388. It's like 100.
Fire department has been added to the system, so that accounts for part of the cost.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So, resolution 10L to O, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 item. This one actually, without public bidding, total cost is almost $1.15 million. This is 4. And then when I look at it, the service contract, seems like to me a lot of service is overlapped, duplicated, services involved. Let me say a few things because you withdraw already, but I'd like to know.
M&N, withdraw, Michael.
I know that, but I have to see 10N.
Well, if they're withdrawn, why
They
don't we
withdraw.
I mean, you could have that.
Okay, next
Well, no, well, next time where you can contact them directly and get your questions answered.
My question is that when we give to some vendors $1.12 million without public bidding, we started questioning. I know that certain, software is actually, this is the only one vendors in the United States. So we got tied up. We understand that part of it.
Yes.
But when I see the service plans, a lot of things is duplicated. So please, do you have come up some kind of plan to how we're gonna limit the service? Let's say just one. This one they say go provide service for PC maintenance and the local network system. Another resolution say almost a similar things. You know what I'm saying? So I say why we have to be paid for both. Another question is that this company provide mobile computer. They say 30 new mobile computer installation, police car prices include. But as I know, it's almost 2 years, I never see the city of Jersey purchase 30 new police cars. We never buy, right? When is the last time we purchased a police car?
We just purchased it recently, within the last 6 months.
No.
We approved.
Yeah. We approved it, we understand. Yeah, but I mean, the last year, how many cars we purchased?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Right. You don't know, but as I understand, we not purchased 30. But service plan, we pay for 30 car installation. And this year, I don't know how many cars we're gonna purchase. We're gonna install it, their mobile computer in the car. You know what I'm saying? So something it's not necessary, we not purchase 30 cars, not necessary service prices include. So that's why my concern is, and also,
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question about that?
That's
So,
for DPW.
do we require like verification that a service is done? Like, is this spending up to a certain amount or?
So generally speaking, they're up to contract. I'm not sure on the numbers of these ones. I think these items are pulled, so I'm not really prepared to get to.
Just get back to your question, you mentioned the MDTs, okay? One of the reasons we pulled it, the director and I, we met with a group last Friday, and we're not sure we're getting our money's worth out of the MDTs, that they're being used correctly, that they're using for the right reasons, and they have to be using at all in the radio cars. The bulk of the work are being done at communications. So we're going to revisit that. We may not want to come back with the same package. We may want to reduce it with the number of MDTs.
That's please, okay? That's what I'm looking for. We don't want to pay something, we never ask for
service, and the duplicate service, I can see, so please, all right?
Yes, sir.
So we can see next time, right? Okay.
Yes.
So for the next one, we'll have those questions answered.
Okay. Next one's 10P. Resolution authorizing agreement with General Dynamics for providing maintenance and support services for Department of Public Safety Police Computer-Aided Dispatch Records Management System. Again, this is a maintenance and service to provide for the computer-aided dispatch for police. Again, it's a proprietary system. It's a software that was already in place, and that's why we went with that company. The cost has been minimum. The increase since 2013 has only gone up a little over $2,000.
Any questions? Hearing none, next item.
10Q, resolution authorizing agreement with Network Management Solutions for providing maintenance and support services for the Division of Public Safety, Police and Fire computer infrastructure and related items without public bidding. Again, this is, they provide goods and services. They maintain the Police and Fire Department network, servers, radio system, security, and IB mobile net, and telecommunications hardware and software. Again, it's a proprietary system.
But this service actually, duplicate service come from the GTPM some area. That's why I was wondering too.
No, this particular,
Now, we see that the mobile, radio system and the service network, some ways at GTPM, they provide some service radio system and network system also, if you look at the service contract.
this has basically to do with the police and fire, the radio communications is the biggest part of it.
And why can't we?
And, so that's why I'm wondering all the time, we have IT department, what are they doing really?
We don't have any IT support. We don't have any IT support.
We don't?
No.
Councilman?
Right now, this is the biggest problem with the communication center. We're still waiting to hire an IT boss for the city and for us. The closest thing we had to an expert was a fire department deputy chief with a background in communications. He just retired. So we're kind of like winging it on what we have. We're at the mercy of some of these vendors because we don't have the expertise to compete with them.
But also some country I can see that they have like a
6 hours of training time for the maintenance and so on and so. We pay for that. But if we hire our own IT person to maintain those kind of field, I think it's a benefit to city of Jersey City.
They're trying.
We've been
They're
trying.
trying. There's an open rec out for a CTO to put the right structure in place for the entire city.
Well, I will tell you that it's this is where you gotta be careful. It's a hugely complicated thing to talk about how to manage technology. And so while we have an IT department that provides general services, help the computer, set up the computers, make sure that you work through any software issues. When you're talking about highly specialized equipment like radio communications or police server access encryption-based information, that's a specialized service, which it may not make sense for us to hire a professional to do that because the level of expertise that person would have to do that won't make them useful to do a lot of other things.
But there needs to be somebody
100%.
at the top
Managing it.
that knows how to speak the language and look for this type of stuff, and it's a big gap.
And to make these types of choices.
Yes.
Does it make sense to have it in-house or out-house, and if
Somebody that
out-house?
can speak the language a specialized person to understand and know what are we getting, what we should be getting. So I think everybody agrees with you. That position needs to be filled.
But I just don't want anyone to think that it's a catch-all.
My station is very simple, because we give away.
Without public bidding, so non-bidding, spend millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? It's bothering us a lot.
It bothers us too. We have hardware and software in place currently that we have to utilize. It's a system in place. And we don't have anybody on site that can make the decision that this hardware is bad, this software is bad, this needs to be changed. We've already invested millions of dollars into this operation, and we can't walk away from it.
Just explain to me simply, why are we doing, again, without bidding, public bidding?
They're proprietary systems. So if we went out to a public bid and asked for a company to come in to maintain it, they'll say we can't. We don't have no choice. It's almost like a patent, okay? Where the company comes in, they're the only ones that can deal with it. Or we purchase under state contract. That's the only time we go out without public bidding.
Change. But that's the only thing that's gonna change it.
Next one, 10R, resolution authorizing award of a contract to Cova Corporation for the maintenance and extended warranty of the analog recording system under state contract for the Department of Public Safety. Again, this is the communications equipment that records all the radio traffic and all the telephone traffic that goes into the 911 system and police and fire radios. We're mandated by statute to record all those items. Questions?
I do have just a comment. Most of the contracts, I believe, they're all effective January 1st.
Yes.
So I think it's been brought up in the past, the idea that, renew them prior to their.
Because of the time it's taken to negotiate them, to try and, we were hoping to have an IT person on board to review them before we had to make the final decision.
Okay, understood.
I'm sorry?
This is early.
Compared to last year. Next one is 10T. These are easy ones. Resolution authorizing an award of a contract to Winter Ford for the purchase and delivery of interceptor vehicles for the fire department.
Folks, 10T? 10T?
Tom.
Purchase of new vehicles?
These replace 2 battalion chiefs' vehicles. They're in operation 24/7, and they replace vehicles that are from 2003.
Okay, any questions on 10T? No.
Okay, 10U, resolution authorizing the award of a contract for the purchase of 5G Patriots for the Department of Public Safety also. These are for the Fire Prevention Bureau. These are replace 2002 Ford Focuses, and these vehicles are being paid for by fines that were collected from the Fire Prevention Bureau. They're not being paid out of regular operating or capital. New vehicles, yes. Questions?
Questions? No? You have any others?
That's it?
One more thing. Bob Kakolewski asked me to advise the council something I think you may already know, that the police headquarters we're in negotiations with the Jersey City Housing Authority to put police headquarters in Marion Gardens. So I wanted Jerry to just speak a little bit about the advantages of that.
I'm sorry?
Folks.
Why don't you describe it?
Jerry, you prepared?
Same thing with OEM and.
There were several reasons, we talked about move. First of all, security. To put police headquarters in the same building with the private sector is a no-no. Security is a horror trying to secure it. We've outgrown the building. Some of the offices that should belong in police headquarters, we had to jam into Bishop Street. Parking is an issue. We've grown out of space up there. Also, emergency management is leasing space throughout the city, and their leases have just tripled. So there is a lease in this facility. There's a warehouse where OEM can move in and move most of their equipment. So.
We just $150,000 or $60,000 just vote for Moish for us to pay them rent, right, Jeremy? For what, 6 months?
Whatever it was for,
Yeah, 6 months lease. And if I'm not finished. So if you guys could go any one of my colleagues, and go check the housing authority. I was there with Director Kears, Director Shea, the mayor, Jeremy, Councilperson Rivera. We toured the whole housing authority. There is nothing there but space, 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 space. We have space there to store all the documents and citywide, and let's say there's Hurricane Sandy and where all the documents got flood. If those documents are saved there, that's stored there, right, Jeremy, everything would have been saved right now.
This is right.
Okay, Councilman Bojian.
No, it's,
Months and months ago on this, when I was on the board of directors of Head Start, we were going to put a school down there, and we were told no because it's contaminated, the building. So I told them, check it before you do it, so there's no future lawsuits like we had at Montgomery Street.
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Someone make a comment? Anyone else have questions regarding this issue?
So you'll be seeing a lease over the next month or two. There's one other thing too. We'll be able to move into this site fast. So we'll be able to get out of Journal Square at the end of that lease. And yeah, so we'll be out of that expensive lease and we'll move to Marion and we'll be able to go there faster than the hub building.
Should check that contamination issue.
Yes,
Sure.
definitely.
For that, because as I said, Head Start couldn't go down there, and I don't think the cops, firemen.
You had a housing project there.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's safe.
And you know why? Because the way they want to set up the program, and I think there's some conflict with Marie Mayor, which I don't want to elaborate on.
Right.
That's why Head Start, because Freehold All Day was part of it to get the Head
That
Start.
was a couple of years,
So-
this is.
A year and a half ago.
I know what you're talking. Dave Downey was a consequence. That was the same there.
He was not.
We'll look at that.
I was there for quite a while. I know.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Along with the director, before you leave, I just want to thank Director Shea, the mayor, and Jeremy, Danny. Thank you guys to be working with me with this project. And it's moving, and Bobby cares about it. It's moving forward. Like I said, I urge my colleagues to go take a look at it. Be more police presence in Marion section. And I need it, right, Joyce? Come on.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Yes. So, Councilman Yun, at your request, Director Struthers here.
Yes, actually, last council meeting.
Before you begin, I just want to make, so every council person is welcome and invited to ask a director to come and speak and so forth. Appropriate protocol, I know you informed the BA, is to notify the council president that if you want someone to come to the caucus meeting. And so I ask you next time to honor that request, and certainly Director Strother can speak to any concerns.
So Director, last council meeting.
So a lot of people show up to city council chambers and they talk about, your department, some issue. So I'd like to hear that, 2014, that's the first time we put in the program. I'm pretty sure they have some issue, so I'd like to, how are we gonna limit it, those concerning the 2015?
So we definitely are interested in any suggestions that you have. We want the whole hiring process to be totally open to the city council. Anytime you wanna meet with me one-on-one, or you wanna meet with the BA and our HR director, Nancy Ramos, I'll be more than happy to sit down with you and go through the whole process with you and hear any suggestions that you have for improving the process.
So actually, you know what's going on.
Actually, you heard that the people's concern. And do you have any your own plan how you're gonna limit that problem issues?
So
Which concern or issue are we specifically?
So is that they're hiring practice,
Which hiring practice?
No, just one minute.
Just answer. Clear, there's a lot of different processes. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, and also, if it's a personnel issue that you're actually
let's be very
talking
clear.
about, that could be confidential.
Talking about
So you have to have,
If we're talking about personnel issues related to City Hall personnel, and specific personnel, though that's off limits. They should be handled, yes.
I think, to be clear, as a policy, we always, and have proven ourselves to be, very open, very transparent. We search far and wide. Sometimes we can't afford far and wide. CTO is a great example, where it's hard to match what we want with the resources we have. But we always have a good process. Most of the hiring is run through the HR department, so you might have a bit of a misfit here. But with regard to recreation in general, certainly we can answer any specific questions about recreation from a program standpoint. But I don't want to get into an HR or hiring discussion because that's a little bit more sensitive, and we would want to have all the stakeholders.
So then we have to call the HR director?
It's probably not a public meeting to discuss HR. I think who's been hired and why they've been hired.
Hiring practices and those types of things, you could have a meeting with the HR director. I recommend you reach them out, but that's not something we would have at Caucus or something like that.
Councilperson Coleman, then Rivera.
If that's the case, no photo officials.
I would just like to say, and I'm going to make this statement, which I tried to make before, about the summer program. It seems to me that statements were made regarding the director that were really out of focus. And I want to clear up why so many African Americans got hired in the summer program is because I, as a council member, submitted almost 700 applications with the help of my committee people. I had 32 committee people. They had 25 applications. I gave the schools applications, the churches applications. I did applications because for so many years, the youth in Ward F were not able to have those opportunities. And my job as a council person was to make sure that they had those opportunities this time. So if you want to know why the figures were high and the percentages were high, that's because Ward F had 700 and something applications submitted. So I just want to share with you, I don't know what the other council members did, but I thought it was our job as council members to see to it that our communities receive those applications, and that's what I tried to do.
Councilperson Rivera, then Charlton Osborne.
I just want to be clear here. We need to stop beating a dead horse here.
Yeah.
The thing, the good, what I've been spending time with Director Struthers for the past week, engaged in programs that he's actually have. And from what I've seen, the Department of Recreation is moving forward positively. I mean, he gave us a breakdown of programs, which I didn't have in the past, and he gave me a breakdown of the programs that recreation is having, that recreation is engaged with, and that recreation is moving forward, positively. And that's important. We desperately need to stop this madness that has been going around, with flyers of me. We need to stop that. Let's move forward, because if we don't stop talking about it, it stays alive, and that's not healthy for the city. It's not healthy for the youth. And let's be perfectly honest here, and let's be clear here. I am comfortable now, with the direction that the Department of Recreation is going with the programs, and that's what we need to be concerned about, and I think we're on solid ground here, and I think moving forward, listen, I don't think it's bad for the council people to have an input on a department. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good for us to share concerns, and that's healthy. And the fact that we've actually gotten a big overview of what's happening. Well, I don't want to say we. I want to say I have seen an overview of what's happening in the programs. And listen, I campaigned on having the best recreation, around, and I'm happy, with the progress that's happening. So, I think we should definitely stop beating this dead horse.
I agree with you, Danny.
Okay, so I have no politicians.
Thank you.
Councilman Gonzalez. I just want to know what's going on with the baseball program. How many teams you got in recreation?
So, recreation this year is going to have a baseball program where we're going to have youth clinics. We're going to have an 18 and under travel program. We are investing some funds into it. I spoke with and I met with the councilman about it, Councilman Rivera, and he's satisfied with the direction that we're taking. Cricket, I'm pretty big on cricket too, and you know we have that great program over there at number 8 school, and we're looking forward to having a cricket program at Barry Lane Park too.
That's for youth. No, that's for youth. Wait a minute. That's the youth program. That's not.
And I'm working with.
I'm
working with Sewa. You know, Sewa's our friends. I'm working with them to get that done. Definitely.
And my last, yeah.
Okay, no, let him get out the cricket. He's been working with hard. He's been working hard.
I've been fighting.
I know.
I've been fighting for a cricket field. The record notice. Yeah, come on. I watched it tonight.
Okay, cricket.
So I'm trying to work with you to see how we can get in Lincoln Park West, right? There is a cricket pitch here, right? That they play cricket. Why can we make that official cricket pitch there?
Lincoln Park. That's a county park. Lincoln Park
Part
West.
of it, the city.
Across the street, like it's over the bridge.
I think we should meet with Director Redfield on that and talk about that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
You know what?
One last thing I want to add to defend myself.
One more thing.
Regarding the flyers for the jobs. I just want to let you know, Councilperson Diane, right? No. I'm sorry. The application about jobs, right? The application about the jobs, we were told that we were only going to get 25, right? And if we were told that a committee person could go there and get another 25, then Diane, I would have got a good 600 as well. But we didn't know.
No, but what I just want to know, Ryan, I just want them to
One more, can I finish?
Oh my gosh, councilperson.
That deliver in Marion section and Ward C about me, and just for the record, if we on, just want to know I have nothing to do with that because there is no way that I'm going to stop transportation in Journal Square or my ward.
Okay,
I'm a big advocate for more transportation, not to stop
It's
it.
unrelated to this topic. Thank you.
Right.
Folks. Councilperson Waterman's been waiting. Speak.
Ryan, I just want you to make it clear also with the summer program, the deputy mayor has something to do with that also, right? She hires interns and things like that. And I know during the summer program, your applications, somehow the process got messed up. And so with the deputy mayor, also with the summer program, it's good for the council to know that they also can really see her concerning summer jobs for the kids, because she do internship. And I don't think they know that, and I know when it came to the application process, I think something could have got confused there. So some of the kids could have went to the deputy mayor and worked, because they had an internship program there. So it's good for them to know that too. We could have that also.
So
with
first
companies.
year, all the problem, we forgive you. But I hope it's not happening.
All I want my cricket.
Ryan, before you
Okay,
go,
folks.
once again, I'll ask.
Field and Van Wagenen down by Pavone, you're gonna be done.
That is also DPW. The parks.
That's not what I've been told for this
Year and a half.
We have to merge it so we can have parks and recreation.
Yes, you
All right, good night.
Thank you. I think Ryan's done. Thank you. Yeah, they're here for MLK Hub. So we have one last, right? MLK Hub?
Yeah, well, yes.
You want to talk about that? And then-
No, we'll bring them up. It's absolutely,
Okay.
because it
I
appears
just
there's
want to
somebody else
say,
here.
Councilman Rivera, well said. Moving us in the right direction. Thank you.
Okay, so this is, Eric and Paul, why don't you come on up? This is 3C.
Ordinance 15020. It's about the MLK Hub.
The hub building, the council has met with Eric and Paul before, but I'll ask them to introduce themselves
Actually,
again.
before we continue, because
Yeah.
before I forget.
Sure.
So, not to get off the positive note, because I want to stay positive, but Councilman, I just wanted to make it clear again, because you didn't really acknowledge what I said about the fact that if going to bring folks, and if any council member wants to bring a director, that typically won't be denied a request, but, you know, as part of the appropriate protocol, ask that you direct those requests to me. And I'll take your non-response as ignoring that, that request. Thank you for your professionalism, Councilman.
Okay, so as we discussed earlier with Jerry Caller, the administration has determined that the police and fire headquarters won't be in this building, which will make it, it'll go from 60,000 square feet down to 45,000 square feet. Why don't you introduce yourselves again to the council?
Good evening, Council. Eric Moore, President of the developer Brandywine.
Paul Fader, counsel to Brandywine.
And as you may recall, I prepared a comparison when questions arose about why we were doing it with a third party as opposed to bonding it and building it ourselves. And I'm happy to go through this presentation again if you'd like. There is one pertinent difference in here. Sure.
Why we're, yes.
Jerry Calla, just a short while ago, spoke about how public safety headquarters is going to Marion, and that's the difference. That's why it's smaller. So this building will cost less because of that. And the difference, if you look at slide page 4 and 5, 4 is the current 45,000 square foot building and what it will cost, and a comparison if we built it using bonding, city bonding. And then 5 is the earlier version that you first saw last, I guess, September it was, or August. So you can see that the cost of the project has gone down $10 million in total cost over the end, and $5 million in the short term.
So it's a 10 million from moving from 60,000 to 45,000.
Yes.
The cost of the city is decreasing by approximately 10 million?
Over the course of the entire lease.
Right. And then the estimated cost by doing bonding with those same reductions would only be approximately $3 million, $6 million reduction over that period.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Very good. I wish I had
So an additional
noticed that.
$4 million.
Yeah, so it actually saves on both sides.
Yeah.
Those are the only two sides that are different. Everything else in this presentation is more or less the same. If you'd like us to go through it, we'd be happy to. Eric has brought lovely renderings of the building, which I think we should.
Yeah. We were able to keep the same design, but just a smaller building. So it's still a two-story building with like what I call a 3-story bump. Thanks. This is MLK here, and this is Kearney Avenue. That's the viewpoint here. Still a brick facade. Like I said, 2 stories with the 3rd-story bump up in the middle. The MLK quotes along the outside. Let me show the viewpoint. This is from the parking lot of the shopping center. That's the view we have here. So then you can see a little better the 2-story with the 3rd-story bump up in the middle.
So what's going in it again, just to remind everyone, the entire Department of Health and Human Services will be here with a brand new clinic for WIC, and also all of HEDC, which includes the building department, the zoning office, commerce, so that there'll be parking for the public that has to go to the building and go right in front of it.
That's a big problem at 30 Montgomery.
Exactly.
Big, huge.
And then there'll be a satellite office from the mayor's office, constituent response office there. So people with problems generally with the government, they'll have someone who'll be there to talk to them. So that's what it is.
Just to add on that, the beautiful thing about having HEDC and HHS in one place is it virtually gets us to that one stop. Not 100%, but almost one stop for those interfaces that people are constantly looking for.
We should keep one police.
Well, there'll be that just
There will be a police presence.
Really, because those permits where they have to drive to like 30 locations in the city and get 25 signatures and that nonsense, like it would be great to have that all resolved.
There's two, aren't they?
Yes, NBC will be there too.
They're moving on Martin's Place too, because that room is needed, because the exit, the one-stop program has grown so tremendously. They're moving, all of the police are gonna move to the Marion, is that what you're saying,
That's
even
right.
from MLK Drive?
That's right.
No, there'll still be a police presence in the hub.
In the hub?
Yeah, there'll still be a police presence.
There'll still be a satellite office for the public safety, right?
You're gonna take all of the public safety from that area?
I think there'll be a satellite office for the director, isn't there so?
There will be a satellite office in the hub, and we gotta figure out on this new building, there'll be some sort of satellite in the new building.
Yeah, there'll be some space, there's a small space designated inside the new building, it hasn't been decided yet. We'd love to talk to you about it, obviously, figure it out.
What happens if the deal that we previously discussed for finding space in Marion falls through? God, it doesn't. What if it does? How does that impact this?
Contamination, like he said.
You know,
Because we just took it down by square foot because of that.
You know, I don't want to say something that doesn't make sense and say, oh, well, I have this other plan. I don't. But I don't think it will, I don't think the housing place will fall apart, because the city has been looking at that space for at least 3 years. And the housing authority really wants it to happen. I think that's right, Councilman? I haven't spoken to them directly.
If it doesn't happen, from a timing standpoint, like, we're gonna be moving on this lease, right? This lease is gonna inform the build out. You know, if we lost that lease, we're gonna have to refigure out where we're gonna go. It might mean a lease somewhere else, it might mean an addition on this building, it might mean construction somewhere else. But those are the types of things we would have to look at.
Council, go ahead, Councilperson.
When is the decision on the other one going to be made? Why wouldn't we try to time them at the same time?
We're going through, we're going through basically the due diligence on that now. We're looking at the space, we met our size, we toured the space, now we just gotta figure out the build out of it to suit our needs. So, you know, it's not a long time, you should be looking for a lease there in the near future.
Okay, Coleman, Bogiano, did you have to? Oh,
Yeah, when would construction start on this?
We have to go through the second reading, and then we go through planning. So however long that would take.
Okay, Coleman?
So we still have time to include the rest of the building. I mean, to me, I don't understand, because even if the police don't go in there, I mean, there's enough city stuff.
You're right.
There's enough city stuff that needs to go in there.
Go ahead.
There's enough city stuff that could go in there that's separated right now.
Well, we do have a plan, that's a very good point. So there are other things that are happening too at the same time. The final pieces of offices that are rented are coming together. So the floor in One Journal Square that's rented, part of that, IT, is going down to Linden Avenue, because there's room, plenty of room for them. And that's why you heard about the server room that we're building in our own site. The rest of those personnel are going up to the Jersey City Parking Authority building, which is empty on the top floor and half empty on the third floor. So those, there won't be offices left in rental. So you're absolutely right. That's exactly what we should be doing, moving out of rental spaces. And so, but I do believe that if they, as Jeremy said, you know, first off, the Housing Authority is very anxious for us to be there, so I don't think that'll fall through. But if it does, the police department made a very strong case about not being in a mixed-use building. They don't want to be in Journal Square either. They should have never been there, but
Councilman Bushiano?
so they're going to be somewhere, you know.
I wasn't gonna ask anything, I didn't bring
my hand, but I'll answer something you just said. Oh, we don't have to rent spaces. What are we doing? We're renting this building for 10 years.
Yeah, which one are we talking about?
The one that they're gonna build.
You were renting it to buy.
No, we own it. That's, yeah, we're not renting it, we're buying it.
It's a lease buyback.
Yeah, we're buying it.
It's approved rent for what, how long?
25 years.
25 years. We're paying
like a
rent.
house.
Just like a mortgage?
Just like a mortgage, like a house.
What?
I paid mortgage on my house for 25
If you look at the comparison, you'll see that it actually will cost us less than if we bonded for it.
Why don't we just build one professional building, a big building?
Everything combined into it, instead of like, I don't know if Diane said it or Candace said it, people have to run around the city to get everything done.
Well, that's why we're building this
That's why we're
building.
building the
You're
building.
still scattered all over the place. You're up on Central Avenue, General Square be gone, you're down here, you know.
For Jerry Calla, the police.
As I said, I wasn't gonna answer
Marion,
your questions,
there's a
but when you
security
said
issue.
we're not renting, we are renting.
Can I?
Did you have a question, Ms. Osborne?
Francis.
And Osborne, did you have anything else?
No, I just, like, don't bring it a third time in like 2 months, because the deal didn't, like, oops, we thought, like, I mean, it's great to be like glass half full, but
No.
Here, do you want that?
I ask a lot of questions. I hope it's not cut middle of my questions,
ahead.
okay? All right. The first things, I love the project. I support it 100%. But as a councilman, I have a few concerns.
What happened?
No, the project itself, because I believe that this city of Jersey City needs City Hall Annex building, because we don't wish to have paid $3 million for rent, something's not left. But when I read through this contract, it's a lease agreement, I feel uncomfortable. First one, commencement day, the day we pay the rent. Based on this contract, doesn't matter you guys have finished the job, company finished or not, February 1st, 2017, we gotta started pay rent.
Okay, so we've addressed this issue before, but let's talk about it again, because it's very important, I think. So if we were to, first off, it's true, there's a drop dead date that the city will be obligated to pay. But if there's a problem with the building, we will have a surety bond that we can exercise to make sure the building is built on time. It is the exact same position we would be if we bonded for the building and built it ourselves. We'd be in the same place. In fact, at the West District, I am unhappy to report that we still haven't finished the building there, and we're in contention with our contractor because we want them to finish it and they won't finish it. And we're wondering whether we'll call the bond and have the surety company finish the building. So we'd be in the same position whether we go with this deal or whether we bonded it ourselves. So that's an issue that's there no matter what. The second, we let people, thank you, we let people who know how to build buildings build it.
Look at the West District.
I have
And then the
chance to speak.
second question that you asked was about, the fact that we have to start paying at this certain drop dead date. Well, if the city were to bond for this building, we would start paying right now. The moment you approved it, we would have to put down a down payment that's required by bond law. And we would make the first payment on that bond before they put a shovel in the ground. So when you say that, yes, we're gonna pay 2 years in the future, we're gonna start paying, if we were to build this ourselves, we'd be paying right away. And the down payment, it would be over $1 million. So you would have to find, the council and the administration would have to find $1.2 million, 4 weeks from now to pay for the bonding. So it's clearly a better deal.
If the way you say is uncomfortable to as councilman and taxpayer, when we use that the developer, person who knows how to build, we want to make sure that when we start paying rent, because we are leasing, we don't want to pay rent, it's not even lease, you know what I'm saying? We're not even able to occupy. You understand? That's the difference. That's the difference.
I've answered that question already.
When I lease the place, I don't want to pay $900,000 a year or something we're not able to use it.
But it goes down on you.
It doesn't matter.
It goes
So
down
now,
on
that's
the payment to own.
that's the part of our deal, I mean, the benefit to have a lease. But we don't have to see their benefit. That's my main concern.
Hold on, Councilperson Carter.
And
Here's a
no,
retort.
I shall not finish yet.
Here's a response to your,
I was giving you
your
a
point.
response that that payment to lease is a pay down on the balance that we owe for the building. Just like if I pay $2,000 a month right now to the mortgage company, that brings my principal down, and that's the same thing us paying to this lease is gonna bring the principal of the building down, and we're gonna own it when we're finished paying the principal.
Okay, now, second is that those areas has a lot of land that has issues, environmental issue. So as a councilman, the Western District has the same problem. Our municipal building has the same problem. The utility building has the same problem. While under construction, they find that some piece or part of the land that is contaminated. They start to hold the project. So before we get into the contract or approve these things, I like to have a BA office that prove that, or some kind of a soil test the whole land. It's a proper land, I mean the condition to build this kind of building. Because while you guys start work, middle of the find out somewhere contaminated land, they hold your project, doesn't matter which you go, February 1st, 2017, we started paying rent. You know, that's the we see there's so many cases already. So before we prove, I like to BA office come out fully certified documentation. The way location we build is just safe to build.
Okay, can
Other
I
than
answer that?
Yes.
Okay, so this issue was brought up again, and it's a very good one, the environmental concerns on the site. Okay, there's a few things, again, making the same point. If the city were to bond and to build this ourselves, we would be in the same place.
See,
We would have to.
Wait, let him finish.
Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead.
We would have to do environmental studies and remediate those environmental issues, and whatever those issues were, the city would have to take on that obligation. That's the same thing with this, how this project goes. What you're asking the administration to do, and I want the whole council to appreciate it, what you're asking is to put the project on hold, to find out what the remediation is going to be, when we're going to do it anyway. We're not going to dig up a parking lot at MLK, find something that needs to be cleared, and say, oh, we're not going to do it, and just cover it back up. So it's not really practical to say, let's do the test to find out if you can build on it. Well, you know, there were some tests done there, or there wouldn't be a parking lot there. And so I don't want you to hold up the project for a reason we're going to do it anyway. We're going to remediate it. The environmental problems that we found at Linden Avenue didn't prevent the project from moving forward. The city had to remediate it. And
How we finance it doesn't matter in that regard. We're gonna, if we bond for it or if we lease to own, we're still gonna remediate either way.
Either way.
Because it's a good project, as you said.
Yes, I understand. Once we find that has an issue, we have to mitigate it. We have to come up with a plan. So my concern is that we have a hidden cost will be rise. We don't know how much.
You always do, though. The city always does. It always will. The question the council should say is that risk enough, high enough to stop the project from going forward? And the answer is no. The answer is no.
Does anyone else have anything else? Okay. How many more do you have, Councilman, if I may ask? If I may be so bold.
You know, especially rent, the financing issue, if above the 4.6%, actually that is not clear. I gave to like 4 different lawyers to read it. You know, they say, instead I look at it actually though.
The adjustable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a concern we have.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
No, we like to have.
Well, let's talk about it. The question is
Yeah.
it adjustable rate mortgage? That's a very good question. It is not. And the language appears to say, you know, it doesn't seem to be clear. But our legal department has approved it, and what it actually says is this. The rate that they were given back in May, I guess it would be, of last year, the bank gave them a quote of 4.6 for this financing. And now it's, what, 9 months later? And so they have to go back to the bank and fix that rate. That happens when the deal closes, when the council approves it and the mayor or the business administrator executes the agreement, they will lock the rate. And the rate is locked. That's it. It's fixed for the 25 years. It doesn't move at all. And what's confusing, and I agree, this is confusing. What's confusing is that the city asked, as part of the deal, that the first 5 years of the payments be flat compared to what we're already paying in other places at 30 Montgomery, just so it wouldn't have a higher impact in the budget in those early years. So it all stays stable for the first 5 years. The rate after that is fixed, and we will know it before the shovel hits the ground. We'll know exactly what the rate is. So is that clear? Because it is confusing, I admit that.
So when I see that there are 4 lawyers, they're probably lawyers, they all get confused, actually. It's not clear, they say.
When they go back to the bank, it'll be fixed. But they can't get that commitment. It's like you getting a mortgage. You know, a bank will give you a mortgage rate for 30 days. If you try to close on day 35, you're not going to get a closing because they only committed it for 30 days.
And also, when I see that they have no warranty and the job. So minute you guys hand to building, is a foundation problem, is any structure problem, City of Jersey is fully responsible.
So Councilman, not only is there going to be implied warranties that happen with any new build construction, but by the pure fact that they're actually technically the landlord for our lease up, we're basically going to have like some really good arguments for different structural things to be covered. Because it's a lease buyback, it's a triple net lease. It's not as simple as a normal lease. There are certain things on our triple net lease that we're going to be responsible for that we ordinarily wouldn't be. But they're still the owner and they're still the developer of the project. So if something structural, there's a construction defect.
We are fully responsible. Doesn't matter that condition is tenable or not. We are responsible.
No, that's not true. You just heard what Jeremy said. If it's a structural problem, that would be their responsibility. If the heat doesn't work 7 years from now, that's our responsibility.
Even 1 year or 2 years later, if we have a foundation problem, structure
No,
problem,
that's not
roof
true.
problem, we're fully responsible. Don't just say, no, it's not the truth. Tell me where is not the truth. You know what I'm saying? When the lease agreement,
I'm
we are
happy to
fully
do
res-
that offline.
Yes, do me a favor, yeah. And tell me that lease agreement.
I assure you.
Say, if a certain roof is a 10 years warranty.
Councilman, I'm happy to do that with you offline. I don't think you have to keep everyone here. You made your point. Yeah, absolutely.
It's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Everybody hear that?
Yes, we heard it.
Right?
It has been heard.
Good, thank you very much. That's all I'd like to hear.
Okay.
If it's not, then I'm going to get accountability.
About what you make comment tonight.
Yeah, you always are accountable.
Yes. Because that's very important part of it, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you just to say
I don't know, but I
something.
think I was just insulted. Absolutely, the things I tell you,
When I read that, you just say that when I read that, it's not there, but you continue to say yes here. Where?
Yes, it
You even heard that from the Corporation Council.
Just be respectful for everyone's time.
Yes.
Caucus and council, don't just say that where. They have a responsible for that part.
He has already offered to say offline
What
that
is
he will
awful?
walk through it with you.
Councilman, let's move on because everyone's sitting there.
Yes, I want to sit down with that. Your side, the lawyer.
He's been offering that to you for months now, Councilman. He's been offering that to you for months.
Yes.
In addition, if we were to bond and build the building ourselves, we would be in the same position.
Well, no, we'd be in a worse position. We'd be 100%.
Okay.
You know what?
We just got it. I'm gonna review that, the Wednesday council meeting. If you guys are able to attend it, I'm gonna ask him question, okay? Because he's, okay.
First reading.
Yeah, we'll take that up.
First reading, first reading, so we are fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mayor.
I don't think is there anyone else here with the city? There is not. Let's take it from the top.
Good job. Thank you.
Take it from the top, 3A.
Any question? I'm not gonna read them into the records, that's my job to do that at the council meeting, so if you have any questions for 3A, 3B, 3C through 3H were touched on earlier. Any questions on the second readings besides 4C, because that was touched on earlier?
No.
Hearing none, let's go right to the resolutions. And all the visitors made it pretty easy for me, so I'm gonna get you guys out of here shortly. Well,
What's that?
I'm not,
Related to what you just passed or no?
no.
Okay, separate, okay.
10A is a resolution authorizing emergency temporary appropriation. On the top of your package, when you came in, there was a replacement on there, so that replaces that. You all clear on that? Okay?
Sir, Councilman Young, could you please respect the rest of the council and give us your attention?
No, I'm not respect anybody, I'm respect everybody. I just want to
Oh,
make
please.
sure my aide want to know what was the question to the corporation council. That's why I just keep him in.
Let's continue.
Okay.
10B is a resolution authorizing the calendar year 2015 reserve for uncollected taxes to be calculated using a 3-year average. 10C is a resolution authorizing a refund credit of $88,366 and a reduction in assessment to settle tax appeal filed by property owner. 10D is a resolution authorizing extension of time to complete the conditions of sale affecting Block 26602, Lot 1, location 364 Ocean Avenue. 10E and F were touched on earlier. 10G is a resolution accepting a donation of 16 Sun Penn Town teach. Good.
Oh, Councilperson?
Yeah, I have a question about this one.
10G?
Yeah, so, I mean, I was, obviously, or maybe not obviously, but I was a member of, that founded Jersey City Sandy Recovery. These specifically came from someone, who started, an Amazon.com wish list, for Jersey City. And one of the problems that we had, during the flooding was that we didn't have pumps and generators and then pumps to pump the water out of people's homes, and especially some of the older homes where structure was a concern. And so I think it's appropriate that the city has these, but in reading through it, there didn't seem to be any language about the intended purpose of these, which was to help residents. And so I would like there to be some type of language that talks about the use of these in an emergency situation. They're supposed to be, used to help residents pump out their homes, not have us pump out the basement of.
Propose some language, and we'll put it in, we'll add it, you can just shoot it over to the clerk.
Or do you want someone to draft?
I would like somebody to draft, I don't know how to draft it. I think that might be illegal. I don't, because I mean, I can always try, but like, I might mess that up.
Send me an email that's raw, and then I'll change it. Okay.
Says that they can't be used for personal use?
Yeah. No, that they're not to be used for governmental use. Like, in other words, those generators were purchased and they were donated to Sandy Recovery to be used to help individual homeowners, not to be able to pump out the basement of City Hall.
But if he does, then they could get what's the, I don't understand, like, you know what I mean? I don't understand what the issue would be if City Hall's flooded.
Well, put it this way. Yeah, if City Hall is flooded, fine, but there was.
Fine, it's not fine. I think we should build a new building.
Folks, I understand your point.
No, let me be clear. When all these homes were flooded downtown, and I went up to OEM and I said, I need help pumping people's houses out, they said, we can't help individual people, we're doing other things. And so this was a response to that. This organization was a response to the city's got the things the city is dealing with. This is a group that's going to help the residents, and the intention of those were to help residents, and I think to me, that's really important.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, and so like these power generators?
Yes.
They're small ones too, so they're really more appropriate for home use just by the size of them, like refrigerating medication or whatever, all that stuff. But my point is, in a Sandy type scenario, the resources might be zero sum. So, if we need 30 generators and there's only 12 or whatever it is, then what you're asking is that these be used for the public use and not for governmental use, which may make sense in that scenario. So maybe it's like first priority language, but there might be a scenario where there's not a massive disaster, but a generator is needed somewhere, and it might make sense for a small.
Yeah, and I'm not, yeah.
So I wouldn't want to include that.
Correct, and I don't think anybody would, I just think it needs to be resident first in a situation.
Yeah, so a first priority type
Yeah.
thing.
So if there was like a request for a generator for a festival, that's probably not where you want to go,
No,
right? Okay.
these are an OEM, they're not for that.
I just want to make sure that if we have another emergency like that again, and, you know, a lot, you know, yeah.
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah, yep, that's all.
I'll try to add some language. What item is it?
That's, 10G.
If you read it by the council person?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, 10K?
10H and I and J, were touched on earlier. 10K is resolution authorizing the amendments of cooperation agreement and execution of a license agreement with Jersey City Redevelopment Agency to improve Berry Lane Park, implementing the Morris Canal redevelopment plan. 10L through 10R were touched on earlier. 10S is resolution authorizing the award of a contract with WW Granger, Inc. for the purpose of roll-off containers under state contract for the Office of Emergency Management, Homeland Security, funded through fiscal year 13 Urban Area Security Initiative Grant. 10T through 10Y were touched on earlier. 10Z is a resolution ratifying an emergency contract award to Abate Tech in connection with emergency asbestos abatement work at City Hall, 280 Grove Street, Jersey City, project number 2014-034 for the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture, Engineering, Traffic, and Transportation. God bless you.
Bless you.
10Z1 is resolution.
Just for the council's
Sure.
edification, the asbestos has been removed. So
Okay.
that project is complete. Just so that you know, if you're walking around the basement, you'll be all right. That doesn't mean we won't find more as we move forward on the project down there, but I just wanted to let you know it's done.
So this is the cost for 9x9, right?
The floor?
I don't know what you mean 9x9. I'm sorry.
No, there's a 9x9
Floor tiles were discovered after that, so that's the way cost to remove?
It's already removed wherever it was. I don't know the details of where it was.
The different, the company.
Oh, okay.
No, just make.
You just want to make sure you're right.
Okay. 10Z1, resolution ratifying emergency contract award to Partner Engineering and Science in connection with the emergency asbestos abatement work in City Hall, 280 Grove Street, Jersey City, project number 2014-034, the Department of Administration, Division of Architecture, Engineering, Traffic, and Transportation. 10Z2 is a resolution authorizing an award of professional service contract to HMR Architects in connection with the Van Wagon Apple Tree House Phase 3 exterior site improvement design and construction administration, project number 2010-029.
Council person?
No, I'm raising my hand for C3.
Okay. Congratulations, Councilman Bojan. Apple Tree House.
Yeah, it's about time.
Is the answer?
5-year project.
All right.
Just be happy about it.
It's the truth. You know, it's the truth. All these things, listen, these things have been going on for years. You get tired of hearing them. I've been around here for years, way before all of you in this room except for you.
Say your favorite word. Say your favorite word. It's
Grace.
Okay, Z3. 10Z3 is a resolution authorizing professional service agreement with the law firm of Light, the Palmer, Greenberg LLC to serve as special counsel on behalf of the City of Jersey City in commercial litigation. Councilman Oswald.
What's going on?
So this ordinance is to effectuate a change in counsel on the, this resolution is to effectuate a change of counsel on the Port Authority lawsuit. We're currently represented by one law firm. There's a conflict with that law firm and the representation they have of a private entity, and we would work with them to try and resolve the conflict, and so they've decided to transition the file to another law firm. How much we paying the new guys? All of them are the same. It's $150 an hour.
No matter who you choose, it's always $150 an hour. But I guess my concern was that the firm that we'd hired is the only people that have successfully sued them before.
That's very true, as I said. Because of conflict, we had to change it over, but, and I say this, slightly tongue-in-cheek, but the real meat and bones of a litigation like this is developing the strategy and building the complaint, and they've done that.
And we have confidence in that? Like, what's
Yeah, the complaint's very strong. In fact, we just won a motion to dismiss. So the opposing counsel filed a motion to dismiss to try and knock out some of the case, and the complaint withstood that scrutiny, and we're pursuing the case. The firm that's handling this for us, while they haven't pursued this specific type of litigation, they're a very well-regarded litigation firm. To get into a little bit of legal nerdiness, there's a practice book we all follow, and it's called the Light Book, because one of the founding partners of this firm wrote the book on litigation. I mean, he literally wrote the book. So that's the quality of a person that we've been able to agree to take this on for us. Okay.
10Z4 is a resolution authorizing the settlement of a suit of Anthony Mustaine and Michelle Mustaine versus the City of Jersey City. 10Z5 is a resolution recognizing Boy Scout Troop 19 and Eagle Scout Alexander Stamato. Congratulations. And the last one, which was a late item that you guys received, I'll give that right to you, Councilwoman. It's 10Z6. It's a resolution authorizing the City of Jersey City to enter into a reimbursement agreement with the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development under the state's Work First New Jersey program to provide on-the-job training to volunteers participating from the Hudson County Community Work Experience Program hired as employees by the City of Jersey City.
Folks, don't go anywhere. Everybody, please.
Ronald, you know what transpired this week, and I just want to say something. The mayor's office, the chief of staff, the business administrator, the girls that work here belong to the city council, none of the other places. What should have happened this week, and nothing against you, Joyce, is that you should have gotten to us, we should have known about it. I come in here, I'm in here every day, and I'm here early, and the girls, Desiree is here. If they want to take somebody and send them to Linden Avenue, let them take somebody from one of the other, but they got people down at Linden Avenue that are more than qualified. They got, interns and stuff. Like you come in here now, there's not going to be anybody here in the morning. I mean, it's ridiculous. The girls belong here. The decision should have been brought to you and brought to all 9 people in this council.
Staff.
This is a personnel matter. Should definitely have a conversation about it. I'm learning about it. I'm learning about it right here at this table with you, but we should talk about it in that.
Ask the girls to help me. Okay, first of all, I'm a council person. I am the chief of the handicap committee, which you know. It's my responsibility to make sure that committee improves. So those girls work for every council person in here, not just you.
They don't work for me alone. Guys, this is an offline
Listen.
Council, this is an
I said they work for all of us in here. All of us in here. Now, if I need help for 2 days.
Guys, this is an offline conversation. It's an offline conversation.
Second.
On the motion to adjourn at 8:01 PM by acclamation, I will say aye. We are out of here at 8:01 PM.
Now, I